There is widespread concern for the future of our kids as we try to navigate education during the pandemic.
That concern centers on online learning versus in school. Here are some of the comments from organizations across the world. We've heard from the American Academy of Pediatrics this summer, who said opening schools safely should be a priority. It called classrooms fundamental, listing off all the roles schools play for kids, like a place for building social and emotional skills, and not least of all, a place for basic needs like safety and food.
Then just last week, the United Nations warned that worldwide school closures will cause a generational catastrophe. The Secretary General calling it a waste of untold human potential, undermining decades of progress and exacerbating already existing inequalities. And a study by McKinsey & Company predicts an average loss of almost 7 months of learning if students are out of the classroom and working through remote or online learning instead.
The concerns are pretty well laid out there, and we're hearing them from local educational experts as well. But online learning is a reality for lots of districts right now, so we wanted to help parents with kids at home. We went right to the experts, the families who've been teaching from home for years.
They love to dance. They're very creative.
Long before COVID,
They love to read. They're really into Minecraft right now.
learning has looked a little different in the Phillips household.
When Kennedy was supposed to go into kindergarten, I was like, I didn't want to be away from her all day.
Mom Anita made the decision with her second daughter to give homeschooling a try. A terrifying thought at first, sure.
We were very scared.
Still, she says worth it. So much so, she's continued with her 2 younger daughters for 8 years now.
It was just more the flexibility of being able to customize it towards each kid's learning style.
This fall, families will find their kids schooling from home as well, as a number of area districts take the semester online. So we decided to go straight to the expert, a mom already educating her kids at home, to find advice for anxious parents. First up,
Get the kids involved. I make a list for them every day of certain tasks they need to get done, like put the dishes away, just get them to help. Because we have to work as a team or the whole place falls apart.
This is true for more than just household chores.
The biggest threat is engagement with online learning. If students don't engage, then they can't make progress alongside of their peers.
Professor Rich Halverson works in UW's Department of Education Leadership. He says parents will be integral in their kids' education by simply being involved.
It's important for parents, as much as they can, to develop learning relationships with their children. This is very much like learning to read with your children, right? That you start to be a partner in the learning process.
Another piece of advice, carve out some space for that learning. Here's Anita's spot.
They have their own separate cubbies, workbooks and stuff in here too.
Even in a crowded home, that there's a space that students regularly use to set up their computers, do their homework, and that space is different from the place where they eat and the place where they play. So those setting up those routines and the expectations that this is where learning happens is really important.
And we've talked about this before, routine is king. Try and keep things as normal as possible.
So as much as possible, if parents can help students develop that routine, that learning happens at these times, homework is done at these times, that's really helpful.
How many sevenths do I have?
3.
Good job.
Anita knows already, though, normal won't always be the norm.
That's a lot of little pieces.
So here's her final piece of advice.
Have fun. If you need to just take a break, if everybody's struggling, just do something fun. Relax. It'll be okay.
We also talked to Professor Halverson about what you should be expecting from your teachers during this time. We'll be putting more of his advice and insight over on channel3000.com.
It's going to be a real challenge for those families who have 2 working parents to try to stay engaged, especially with the little kids right now. For parents out there who have one of the members able to be at home and devote enough time to these kids, it's hard enough, but for families who don't have anybody to fully engage with those kids, it is going to be challenging.
Which we spoke with Anita about specifically. She's lucky enough to be able to work from home, which is, of course, a full-time job, taking care of the kids there, while her husband works at his full-time job. And her advice there, give yourself a break, because we're in unprecedented times.
Yeah, if it's little kids or, high school, middle-aged kids, they still need attention. You got to try to figure out all this stuff too with your older ones.
Yeah, we both work outside of the home, so yeah, it is a struggle. I think school's going to start early for my kids. Woodshop class, I think they're going to have to build their own desk so they can just have a space to do their homework. I'll
Hey, great.
take their advice. Maybe we'll start things a little early this year.
There you go.